Good morning.
Morning.
I want to start off in 1962. Not when I was born, by the way. 1962. I want to start off talking about 1962. I want to start to talk about my mother. My mother in 1962 arrived from Jamaica with a British passport in one hand, a suitcase in the other, and ambition and aspirations. Wanted to build a new life. Back in 1962, the way you advertised to rent property was in the front window of your house, asking to let a room. My mother had a British passport, and in the window, first window that she encountered said, no blacks, no Irish, and no dogs. That was her reality. Had a British passport, but didn't feel that she belonged. That was her reality. But surely society, we've changed, right? Things are different. Or are they really? 60 years later, there was a report by Generation Rent. 2 females, both aged 26. One's called Zuri, the other one's called Lizzie. They applied for 200 applications online to rent property. Lizzie received 17% more responses, full stop, compared to Zuri. But the responses that they received, Lizzie also received 36% better, more positive responses to go and see rooms. They sent the same applications to the same 200 landlords. But there was only one distinguishing characteristic feature difference. Lizzie was a white, blonde hair, and Zuri was a black female, both aged 26. So how have we changed 60 years later? The question is, are we confronted by this paradox of race? So I wanted to examine, was it just in property or was there other areas that we could explore? So let's think about Zuri or Lizzie going to university. And they both coming fully qualified to try and get their degrees. But what we discovered that black and ethnic minority groups were 10% less likely to get a first-class degree than any other demographic group. So that was in education. But they finished their degrees, they have their degrees in their hands. They now say, well, okay, I want to go and get a job. So they sent off their CVs. And what do we discover? That ethnic minority groups, based on their name, whether you have a Eurocentric sounding name versus a foreign sounding name or an ethnic sounding name, had a 57% differential in their response rates. But the CVs were identical CVs. So this is complex. Is this structured? Is it by design? What is it? Eventually they get a job. They both qualify, they both have a degree. But they apply for the job, they get accepted for their job. But do they get paid the same? But what we know, the data tells us, there's between a 5 and 20% difference between what they actually get paid. Is that structural? Is that systemic? What is it? What is going on? And if you want a leadership role, you're less likely to get that as well. It's a real challenge. So let's start our own business. Now, if you think about the British Business Bank, they tell us that if you want venture capitalist investment, you're only 2% likely to get that investment if you're a black or an ethnic minority group. It's a real challenge. And of course, we know about the rental property. You're 36% more likely to get a more positive response of one group of demographic versus another. So we live in this paradox that 2 things can be true at the same time. We think that we're in a more inclusive society, but equally so, we're also in an uninclusive society at the same time, simultaneously. And I call this the race paradox. The race paradox is this unconscious illusion of inclusion. The unconscious illusion of inclusion that conveys this appearance of racial equity and equal coexistence. But actually, the race paradox is a set of complex, interconnected constructs that gives this cosmetic facade. It's an illusion. So, but within the context of the workplace and organisation, what does that look like? Now, I've described it like this. There are organisations that are walking the walk. They're doing what they say they should be doing. They're open, they're equal, their recruitment policies, how they pay people, how they're structured. You see diversity reflected throughout their organisations. They're trying to walk the walk. They're not getting it entirely right, but they're doing a lot of the right things. And of course, there are those I describe as cultural laggards. They are languishing behind. They're in the 1950s, the 1930s. They talk about policies and procedures, but they don't really have them until they're forced to do something about them. They are cultural laggards. And of course, we have the shining stars, the beacons of change, those who are real champions, who are doing all the right things. You see it reflected in diversity throughout the whole organisation, equality in pay, how they recruit. And of course, we have those who are stuck in the paradox, the race paradox. They'll have policies, they'll have employee resource groups, they'll have diversity training, cultural intelligence training. They are high on talk, but very low on walk. They celebrate Black History Month, they celebrate Pride, Women's International Day, all of those things. They'll have actors and posters that celebrate this stuff. But when you look at beneath the veneer of all of this and you strip away, what does the senior leadership team look like? What's the pay disparity look like? What does the promotion ladder look like? What's the sales funnel look like? How do these organizations really celebrate true inclusivity? The race paradox is real. So how do we change it? The one thing we know, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? Mm-hmm. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So I say it's about the ABC. First, we have to acknowledge that the paradox exists. It's real. It's structural, it's systemic, it's there. B, we need to benchmark and measure. We have to have a set of matrix. Often we measure input, but we don't measure outputs. But we need to think about the outputs. Are there real tangible changes? What did we do last year, and how have we made a difference this year? Have we seen that true transformation of growth in the organisation? And finally, C, continuous improvement. The Japanese call it Kaizen, continuous improvement. How well are we doing? How well are we growing? And are we transforming the organisation to the way that we truly want it to be? My mother came in 1962. She wasn't looking for a handout. She wasn't looking for a hand up. She was looking for access and a door to be opened. That's all she was looking for. Now, my question is this. We are the custodians of change. When we're in our organisations, are we the persons or people on the door opening it or keeping it closed? Who are we? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Thank you.